I don't know what to think. I really don't know what to definitively think. One thing's for sure. What the fuck is with this bullshit? We come back just for 1 week after that 3 week hiatus, and now we got the winter finale or the mid-season finale for Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. And now it's gone for like I think 2, maybe 3 months. I think it comes back in like March or something like that. And we're left hanging with something that left a little bit of a bad taste in my mouth. But before I get to that, let me go ahead and review the mid-season finale as a whole, which was entitled The Laws of Inferno Dynamics. I'm just gonna call it the mid-season finale for the fourth season of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. And for the most part, I really did enjoy it because not much really happened in terms of story because the core of the episode was stopping Eli. So overall, it was mostly an action-packed episode. Nothing really moved in terms of the story, but I didn't mind that because that's what the last few episodes were about. Here, it was all about getting the team together to go on this recon mission to get either Eli out of there and apprehend him or just neutralize him or eliminate him so that more people don't die. It's one of those episodes that's just a group on a mission, take down one guy or group of guys, and hopefully save lives in the process. It's a little cliche, but I've always loved seeing this team of S.H.I.E.L.D. kind of get together, especially with the new introduction of Inhumans, and one of those Inhumans being Robin himself. I love this team that was getting together. And director Mace putting his agendas aside, which were thankfully addressed in this episode. I love that everybody was calling out on his bullshit. It's like, hey, we know what little thing you got with this senator here that kind of hates Inhumans, and he even confessed as to why he was doing it. But putting that all that stuff aside, but not necessarily ignoring it, was a very wise move on the writer's part. But the overall goal of this episode was just to bring Eli's plan to a close, to kind of give this first half of a season, because even though we still got, what is it, like 15 episodes ahead? It's a 22 episode season. Why are we ending the first half with episodes 7 or 8? Speaking of Mace, I like that he was physically on the field involved with the mission, but a super suit, which I'm not gonna lie, it looked pretty dope. I like the little symbol right here. It was harkening back to the comics, which I believe he becomes, I believe his name is the Patriot, which is like a derivative of Captain America. Like, Captain America's not around in this comics story arc, but he is, and he kind of takes up the mantle, but not as Captain America, but like as this figure called the Patriot. So I think this was the show's way of kind of hinting at that with the little shield symbol there in the middle, which the costume looked pretty neat, but dude like punched one dude and that's it. Like, punched and kicked another dude and that was it. I was hoping for him to contribute to that action piece the same way that Yo-Yo and Daisy as Quake, absorbing all those earthquakes and then taking off. I was hoping that Mace would be involved in that sense, but he just punched one dude, and that was it. A little disappointing. But I still enjoy seeing this team go through with this kind of plan, especially when you got Daisy, Robbie, and Yo-Yo back doing the little thing with their inhuman powers. Especially when some of those powers were put to good use in some really cool, visually cool action sequences with S.H.I.E.L.D. kind of trying to do their own little Flash thing where you got all this commotion happening and then everything would slow down. And I'm like, oh, they're trying to do their little X-Men Apocalypse, X-Men Days of Future Past thing going on where Yo-Yo's running like this and she's kind of moving things around, and I'm like, oh, that's cool, but Days of Future Past, they did it kind of better. They had the budget. I understand you guys are trying to do their own thing, but it's really, really hard to not think about that. Although, while we're still talking about the main mission, the only thing that I didn't like that happened in the middle is where it kind of slowed down for Coulson to walk in and literally just dump this huge load of information that was kind of neat to kind of dispatch Eli's beliefs that he was becoming a god, but at the same time, it's like everybody just stops and says, okay, let's listen to Coulson ramble and just say why Eli's wrong and why Coulson and the team is right. It didn't feel organic. It didn't feel natural. But that's just my knit of picks coming forward, my film aficionado coming forward and saying, this is not how you write a screenplay, even though I should probably just put that aside and just watch this show. It's Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. I should just watch it. Well, the science team create this brand new portal, which again has the little Doctor Strange orange, so that was pretty neat to see again. But I was loving that Ada was being part of this team and was helping out just like I wanted her to. Before I get to that, everything wraps at a close with a little bit of a cliffhanger. Ghost Rider takes Eli into this portal, and they kind of just disappear along with that bomb that was set to go off. Now, of course, they're kind of putting this aside, and we've seen S.H.I.E.L.D. do this thing where they kind of take a character and kind of kill them off, but at the same time not really, kind of leaving the door slightly open for them to kind of return. But for for like either the next season or the latter half of the season, while we deal with this other thing, and they kind of did the same thing with Ghost Rider, and it's a little sadly safe to say that maybe Robbie and the Ghost Rider are kind of gone for now. It's going to be a really long time before we see them appear. But even Coulson speaks to both Daisy as well as the audience. This probably won't be the last time we see Robbie Reyes. It's just a shame that we're going to probably see a string of episodes dealing with this other element that we were left with at the end of the episode before we tackle that again, which is a shame because season 4's highlight was Ghost Rider, so seeing him exit has me a little worried. So now let's talk about what we were left with at the end of the episode. So it seems like Daisy is now part of the S.H.I.E.L.D. team again, which part of me is okay with, and another part of me is like, are we gonna start retreading certain tropes with her character? Like, I want to be part of the team. I don't want to be. It's really early to call that, so I'm gonna give it the benefit of the doubt and just give it a chance. You know, I'm gonna accept it going into the second half of the season next year. But for now, I'm wondering what is this going to take us for the S.H.I.E.L.D. team, and what is she gonna bring to the table once again now that she's a S.H.I.E.L.D. member? What is a little bit more interesting is that she's now in the public eye, and Mace handled it very well, kind of taking responsibility for it, but is she going to have some kind of relationship with Mace? And I don't mean relationship in that way, but I'm just mean in servicing the story. Is this going to move things forward? But that paled in comparison to how utterly disappointed I was with S.H.I.E.L.D. doing what I was hoping they wouldn't do, but they did anyway. They made Ada a villain. By the end of the episode, she kills that one dude by somebody just going snapping his neck, and it turns out that somewhere, I don't know where, I might have to rewatch the episode to see where she kind of pulled that magic trick, which I love that they got a little clever there, where she's like, magic involves deception. Well, it looks like you pulled the big grand magic trick of it all. You somehow swept Agent May, the real Agent May, and you put in some kind of LMD, life model decoy, in their stance when they're celebrating by the end of the episode. And that was probably the brain that she was creating in the last episode that I was hoping would lead to something better, but instead it leads to two things that I just did not sit well with. And that was that Ada's the bad guy now. Oh my god. I was hoping she would be a member of the team and she could be that scene stealer in the background that is robotic but yet is very emotional, you know, that kind of thing that Marvel tends to do, but instead she's going to be a villain. And the second thing is that we're going with a life model decoy storyline that could have been intriguing, but instead we're going with the invasion of the body snatchers type of cliche story where, and it's once again with May, where we kind of had some shade of this before in the season where she was possessed by the ghost and she was like, ah. Now we're dealing with a similar thing where the team's gonna have to deal with an alternate version of May, even though it's not May, it's a life model decoy, and the real May is hidden before. I've seen this type of thing before, and I feel like we've seen it in this show already. So I'm disappointed to see that that's what we're going to be kicking things off with when the show returns next year. So I'm just going to admit it, the episode overall was very much an amalgamation of things that we have seen on S.H.I.E.L.D. be done before. But the majority of it was overshadowed by the chemistry of the characters as well as the camera work and the direction and the way everything was handled that I didn't mind, especially with the inclusion of Robbie Reyes and two other Inhumans to kind of showcase their powers. And I knew that going in because this is one of those mid-season finale type of episodes where it's all about action and not story, but I don't mind that because that's what we had the last few episodes. It's just disappointing that at least another fifth of the episode, which was the last remaining minutes that we were left with, ended up recycling tropes that we have seen on S.H.I.E.L.D. before and taking it in a direction that I just didn't want it to, but they did, and that was very disappointing. So I'm gonna have to give the mid-season finale of season 4 of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. a low 8 out of 10. I enjoyed it for the most part, but man, I can safely say that I don't know if I'm looking forward to the remaining of season 4 next year. I feel like these three months, they're not going to be too tough to handle, because what we were left with doesn't really have me all that excited. It just genuinely doesn't. So that does it from our review of the mid-season finale of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Let me know in the comments what you guys thought. Do you think they're taking it in the right direction with these life model decoys storyline? And do you think that they're gonna make some kind of 180 with Ada that can hopefully redeem themselves from taking in such a cliche route? And do you think we're going to see Ghost Rider hopefully by the end of the season once more returning from that other dimension? Is this going to be a changed Ghost Rider? Is it going to be affected by that supernatural interdimensional stuff? Please let your feedback be heard in the comments below. Like and share this video, give it a thumbs up, and of course subscribe for everything coming soon to this channel, including some reviews that I'm very stoked for. Rogue One, got my tickets, day one I'm there. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys next time. Take care.